Hi, everybody. In this ViaRender video, we're going to take a look at 4 different lighting techniques that you can use in Twinmotion for your interior projects. I'll run through starting with a pretty basic area light setup, and then I'll also show you how to set up your lighting if you have, for example, a room that has no open windows, so we can't get that natural light in. And lastly, I'll look at what you can do with Lumen in order to get pretty good results on your interior renders. All right. Uh, Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, everybody. So the first lighting setup that we're going to look at is without a doubt the simplest. Now, this is for the path tracer and path tracer only, and it does sort of presuppose that you've adjusted your materials, set up a camera like this, and you just want to light your scene. So this is our HDRI simple lighting setup. Now, I'll turn on the path tracer, and I'll just show you what we're kind of working with here. Don't worry about these lights over here on the right. I'll just update my scene. So the first thing we need to do is find a HDRI. Now, if you're doing interior lighting and you're not looking outside, we can get away with a very basic lighting setup. So under our ambience tab, environment, I'm using the Overcast Pure Sky 8K from Polyhaven. I think you can get this from within Twinmotion as well. You'll notice it's kind of grayish and it does have a pretty white hotspot. And the intensity is set to 1. Now, you can also go library. You could come down and maybe install your own HDRIs. If I go to my user library, you can see I've got a whole bunch of them. This is, you can use anything that's kind of like a grayish sky or even just a white HDRI. You can search online for white HDRI. I've even got one here that's from a jewelry site online, and they had a nice kind of like black and white jewelry enhancing HDRI. You just want something that's kind of just pure white light. That's the closest thing we can do. Now, in terms of lighting this, if we go outside, so I'll quit the medium mode. Here we go. There we go. There's our HDRI outside. And if we, again, I'll just turn off all these extra lights. What we have going on here is basically two, area lights. All they are is a rectangular light. They're outside the window. I have one pointing down, one pointing up, and they have full attenuation, so they're going as far as possible, and the shadows is turned on. In terms of the color temperature, just 5,500 Kelvin, almost kind of like neutral lighting. And if we go back to our path tracer really quickly, let me just turn this on. Now, you will still have to adjust the auto exposure. That's just kind of something you'll have to do anyway, so just get used to that. But for this, once you kind of got your HDRIs outside, you've got your area lights outside, and I adjust the exposure, that's a pretty nice result. And I'm just running the path tracer here at a custom medium. I think it's just the default medium setting. It's not even a custom one. That's it. That looks great. Now, please note though, this very basic lighting environment will only work very well if everything else is set up nicely. You do still need to have your materials. You do still need to have enough detail within the room for it to look good, and the modeling needs to be good. It also needs to be well decorated. In terms of camera length, by the way, 35 millimeters for an interior shot's a great starting point. The great thing about this is if you want more light, we can just increase the area lights outside. So I can put them up to 250, and these are both instance lights. And I turn the path tracer back on. You're just getting that more light coming in from outside. This would be very similar to how a lot of plays might be lit, basically strong side lighting coming in. You're getting gorgeous contact shadows. They're nice and soft. They're not really, really sharp. Overall, this looks really good. If this is all you're doing is interior shots like this will work nicely. Now, the next thing is what happens if we need more light in the scene? Well, let's look at our medium lighting setup. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Again, we want to control that auto exposure. And the only difference here is what if we have some more lights in the scene? Now, you will actually notice over here on the right, we've got a lamp, and we've also got some areas where I can turn emissive lights on. So let's quit the medium mode, and I'm going to use the eyedropper to sample this emissive material over here. And I'm going to go down, and I want to make sure this is set to a very low value of about 5. There we go. And I want to make sure that the luminance filter, basically what color the emissive light is going to be, is set to a kind of nice warmish color, something maybe cream. You want to avoid really deeply saturated. We're not doing neon lights here. And if I go back to my second shot, you will see I do have this really nice emissive light going on here. And I also have a second spot, which is going to be these bookshelves. So if I go over here and I again select that material, put the luminance to about 5 again. Ooh, shiny. That's looking pretty nice. I'm going to turn off the extra lights in the scene. And I do want to make sure then that I turn on my lamp light. So how do we do a lamp? Well, a lot of times people will just come in and they'll go lights, omnidirectional, they'll shove it into the lamp. That won't necessarily look good. So what we have is actually two IES lights. They are not instances, which means you can control the values of each one separately. And if I click on this one right here, for example, this top one, and we kind of just take a look at this, the attenuation is very, very near. It's like 3 feet. That's how far the light is actually going to travel. The intensity is 5, and the cone angle is 160. So it's not as pronounced. Now, the one underneath it is a little bit stronger. So intensity of 10, attenuation of 6 feet. And the color temperature for these lamps, you just literally like the lamp like behind me that you can kind of see. You just want these to be warmer, and we do want shadows on. So 4,500 Kelvin will give us a pretty nice result. And I'm just going to make sure these spotlights are off. And if we just let this kind of like refine, there we go. That's looking really, really nice. And if I put this all the way up to high, it'll give us a much better idea of how this is actually looking. Please note that lighting in Twinmotion, you still need to adjust the exposure within the camera. You just got to do that on every shot. Now, if I want to tweak this lighting a little bit, we can always come down to the exposure tab, and I can look at like the white balance, which here it's set to 6,500 Kelvin. I could make it like bluer will make it cooler, and warmer will make it literally warmer, which gives it a more cozy, comfortable feel. If you're not sure, honestly, just the 6,500 Kelvin will work fine. You can also color grade this afterwards in Photoshop. Now, the last thing is what happens if your client is like, I have spotlights in my house and I want to see my spotlights on. So this is the HDRI hard mode. It's pretty much identical to what we've got going on, except we've added spotlights. Now, I've made where the spotlights would be coming from in this scene. I made them purple just so you guys can kind of see them up there. Now, how we work with these is basically just to add a spotlight. And if I turn these little fellas on, you can kind of see here, I have two identical spotlights. They have a pretty far attenuation, and they're going all the way. They're going to hit that ground. And the cone angle, if you want to see your cone angle, by the way, just change your color temperature to bright red. So even if I'm working on this scene, now I can see where that light is affecting and what it's actually casting shadows on. And so I can adjust these spotlights. And again, they're instants, so they're duplicates. They're very low intensity. If you're working with the path tracer spotlights, you want to put them at a very low intensity. I do want to enable shadows. And now I can come in and adjust the actual cone angle, and that will give me an idea of like basically where those spotlights are hitting. And if we take it up quite high, you can see they will stretch pretty far, and then just put them back to either cream or just kind of a generic like whitish color. And that will work pretty nicely. Now, with that being said, that's basically 3 ways to kind of light a scene. Now I want to show you some variations. We'll look at Lumen. And then I want to look at what happens if you've got like curtains outside that are completely blocking the window and we're not sure what to do with that. We'll try some other techniques. So let's block this with our curtains. Okay, so your client has somewhat frustratingly asked you to show the room with the curtains closed, which means we can't rely as much on the area lights outside. Now, we actually kind of can in a way. What's really important here is the material on the curtains. So if I turn off the path tracer and I bounce over to, you can see my room gets very dark here. I use the eyedropper on our curtains. We've gone ahead and closed them in Twinmotion. And what material I have on this is this fabric wool base. Now, what's really important about this is 2 things. The first is that we have a slider over here, or an option, to put this to thin. So now this will act almost as if it has an opacity map on it. You can see the different standard, thin. Really, really important. The second thing that's important is you can, if you want, use your own opacity map. So you could basically go to Photoshop, just make it 2048 by 2048 square and load it up here. And that might give you a bit more control as well. So if we look at our render here, and I turn off these additional lights and I just turn on the path tracer, this is not too bad, honestly. Now, we can also adjust then the strength of the area lights outside because right now it's looking kind of very bright. So I've put these back to a lower value, like 350, and turn the path tracer on. It's not as blinding outside. It's still probably a bit too bright. But again, if you're doing the path tracer, you just fix this in post in Photoshop. However, the rest of the room is still looking too dark, even with all my other lights on. But I also don't want to like crank them because that would look really silly. So we have another trick we can do. We can put two Omnilights in the scene. Omnilight is basically going to, if I select the sky, you can see, it's going to basically blast light in a 360-degree radius. Now, how we work with this is you need two of these. So the first one is going to have a really far attenuation. I'm going to make it red so you guys can see. And I am going to turn shadows on because we kind of want those contact shadows. Without them, the scene will look really weird and flat. The attenuation is going as far as possible. By the way, this works a lot easier if you have like a light fixture right in the ceiling like most rooms do. If you don't, well, then just consider it fake lighting. So that's fine. Now, this little guy over here has a very low intensity. And then right, like kind of sitting below or above it, we have a second one. They are not instances. That's really important. One's just a copy. This guy has double the intensity, so instead of 5, it's 10, full attenuation as well, and no shadows. So what you'll have is basically two Omnilights emitting a total of like basically 15 lumen, depends on your scene, but one will have shadows and one won't, and you'll get a nice blend between the two. All right, let's take a look. So here we go. Here's our curtains closed scene. We've got all of our lights on, and I just need to make my omnidirectional lights not red. Again, you're not doing a horror movie. And both of them, yeah, should be set 10:5. Lovely. And that looks pretty sweet. We'd still have to come in, by the way, because we've added extra lighting into the scene and adjust the auto exposure. Again, just trying to keep consistency with the scene. But there we go. I mean, to me, that looks absolutely fine. I think that will work really, really nicely. If your curtains are blocked, you're still getting contact shadows, which is the most important thing, and you are getting highlights. If you're getting highlights where you don't want them, all of these lights have the ability to click on them, go down to the very bottom, miscellaneous, open that fella up, and turn off the reflection slider. You can see that change happening in the pseudo mirror up there on the back wall. So full reflections, none. If the light is realistic, like a lamplight, you do want that little fella turned on. If it's a magic light, like the Omnilights, you want to make sure that's not visible in any of the reflections. Okay, next lighting in, by the way, this lighting environment will work perfectly fine for nighttime as well. You just turn off the area lights. And if we turn this guy on, we're relying now just kind of on, let's put this to nighttime. Let's just go to environment, and I'm going to just completely change the HDRI or have it no intensity, 0. There we go. It'll still work just fine. Now, the last lighting environment for interior shots we want to talk about is working with Lumen, everyone's least favorite Twinmotion lighting setup. Lumen is hard to work with for interiors, so let's see what we can do. If you are working with Lumen, let's open those curtains again. We want to try and get more light in from outside. Okay, so next lighting setup, working with Lumen for interiors, which is honestly not really ideal, but it'll work. Okay. So one thing we might want to do is, firstly, the area lights. These haven't played well with Lumen in the past. There's ways we can fix it, but generally speaking, if I'm going to add these area lights here, what I'll probably end up doing is maybe just take these lights really far away. Otherwise, they can cast a bit of, you can kind of see it right there, a pretty pronounced shadow up here just because of the way Lumen kind of handles light. It's just not as, the light will never look as good as the path tracer. Okay, so just one thing we can do. For this scene, I'm just going to turn off the area lights entirely. We don't really need them. Now, in order to light this, we haven't really made any major changes. And one of the things that's going to be really important when working with lighting an interior in Lumen is not necessarily just the lights with the path tracer, but the settings that you're actually working with. So you can see we are on Lumen. Scene detail, I will usually just crank this up as high as possible. The other stuff you can just kind of leave for the most part. In terms of other settings, when you want to see how this is actually going to look, you want to go down to Lumen Global Settings and just put it on full and just crank pretty much everything up. It should be fine. You shouldn't really run into some major issues. You're on the looking for like flickering or things like that, but I'm not seeing anything right now. Please note though that mirrors that are directly facing the camera, you may run into issues. Now, the other thing to note is the shadows. When you're ready to kind of like render with this lighting environment, just make sure that you've got accurate turned on, and then you can adjust the sun bias. You can see that a little bit on the container in the back. And then the light bias will give you control over the actual shadows. And that's really nice to be able to have. And in an interior shot like this, maybe just some nice softer shadows will work quite well. Other than that, you could probably get away with using the same techniques we've used for the closed curtain. So we've got our IES and we've got the two omnidirectional lights pretty much doing the exact same function. And that should be it. Now, the one last thing that we could change here as well is the actual environment. If you want this to maybe like, get more exterior lighting, we can still increase the intensity and we just might want to rotate to basically get a little bit more light coming in. And that's going to be directional light, match HDRI, and then we can adjust the intensity to our heart's content. Basically, we're using the brightest part of the HDRI. If I turn my camera here, woo, you can see it right there. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, with that, we are pretty much done. So hopefully you guys have picked up a couple of simple lighting techniques, very basic, just using the HDRI, then adding some emissive lights, and then adding some interior lights. And lastly, working with Lumen. Now, please note, Lumen has gotten better on the interiors, but if you don't have to use Lumen for an interior, then don't. Stick to the path tracer. All right, hopefully that helps you guys out, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Cheers.